What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of The Room. Having a healthy mind is priority, man. First of all, before I even start this video, if you have not watched episode 1 of season 2, I'm gonna need you to pause me right now, like right now. Just stop, revert back to that video. You know what I mean? You gonna watch it, and you gonna come back right now. At this moment, I should be unpaused, so unpause. Now you understand why we are here, continuing the conversation, man. So you see the title. Let's jump right into it, man. First video of season 2. Like I just said, the title of that video is "Why Should You Forgive?" And just to sum it up, basically, the concept, basically the general meaning I was trying to get across through that video is forgiveness is for you. In a sense, it's to free yourself. It's not really for the other person. As far as forgiving, everyone knows the saying, forgive but don't forget, which leads me to today's video to continue the conversation. A lot of things was brought to my attention after I recorded that video, and it made me think of a lot more, and specifically it made me think about situations that I personally cannot relate to. So, for instance, a good friend of mine brought to my attention, although I put out the message, or I put out the message of forgiveness is more about you than the other person, and like I just said, it's about freeing yourself, right? But then there's also situations of, you have your rape victims, your sexual assault victims, you have your abuse victims, your domestic abuse victims, abuse on many different levels, whether it's abuse caused by drugs, someone who's overly induced in that drug world and might not treat their kids, the best. I'm trying not to be, too blunt with that, but you understand what I'm trying to say. So once I thought about that, it kind of switched the conversation for me. Not all the way, but just a tiny bit. I still do believe that forgiving is mostly for you. And not even mostly, it is for you. It's never for the other person. It is for you. Hence, forgive, but don't forget, right? So, once again, if you have not seen episode 1 of season 2, just pause me right now. You're going to go back to that. You're going to come back here. Now, if you remember the personal situation that I spoke about in that video, that was, just 100% towards me with the whole situation with my name, etc., right? So within that video, I said I didn't need to stand in front of the person that I was forgiving, because I'm just at a point to where I let it go as far as it holding on, I let it go as far as me holding on to it, as far as it being a huge effective factor in my life, right? But although I am forgiving to free myself, I'm not forgetful of what it is I had to forgive and let go of. So once again, I can't relate to none of the things that I previously spoke about, as far as someone being a rape victim, or someone being a sexual assault victim, or a domestic violence abuse victim, or anything to that nature, like very extreme. I have no relevance to that. I wouldn't even know how to speak from that perspective. But speaking from an advising standpoint, if someone was to ask my advice or ask my opinion on the matter, I would still say that it's best to forgive, because it's mostly gonna come down to you just freeing yourself. I know with any level of forgiveness comes with a huge level of pain that kind of, it takes us a little longer to get to that forgiving level when there's so much pain involved, because the pain can overshadow anything else. When the pain is at a very, very, very strong level, even the idea of eventually getting over that pain, it's so far gone that it's not even a thought, not even in the slightest. So I do understand from that perspective. And once again, I gotta keep repeating this. I can't relate to those situations. This is me just my opinion and my advice, I guess. So what I will say is, when it comes to the mental and having a clear mental space and having a healthy mental space, we have to just look at the effects of certain things that we're holding on to. Going back to what I just said, sometimes the pain is so strong that you're not paying. It's hard to pay attention to anything else when that's all you see, and I completely understand that. Not even a full month and a half ago, I was in a certain place to where I would never forgive, never. But I had to get to a certain point of, what, this is for me. I need to let this go off my back. It happened. It's a part of my life. It's a part of my history. It's a part of my story. That's good enough. Somebody ever writes a book one day, if I write a book one day, if someone decides to shoot a movie, or if I shoot a movie, it's in there, it's cemented. There's nothing I can do about it. Now, let's do whatever's necessary to move on and have that not be a constant factor. Like that, like just that monkey on your back that's constantly there. And sometimes also when the pain involves another human being, that also becomes a focus more than anything else. And rightfully so. Someone physically hurts you, that's a different level of pain. Especially if someone goes to the extreme of trying to take your life. I completely understand. I don't know if I can ever fully forgive someone who tried to have my life be taken away. So I can't speak from that perspective. I can't speak from a advising perspective. Once again, I don't, might not be using it in the correct way, but yeah, I can't speak from being deep in that. I can only just speak from the terms of what it's gonna take to have that healthy mental space when you're holding on to something that's not really doing you good, And once again, I do apologize if you tired of me repeating this at this point. But once again, to anyone who's ever dealt with anything super extreme, i.e., rape, any form of sexual abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, anything like that, once again, I can't speak from that perspective, because I have I can't relate to that. I can only just say that if you're someone who's dealt with any of that, just take a hard look at yourself in the mirror in the terms of, do you really want to just keep feeling the way you feel, whether it's feeling scared or whatever that feeling is. If you're honestly just tired of that feeling, then that's the first step into the direction of healing and moving on, so to speak, from whatever the situation is that you're finally ready to give that forgiveness to. And that's what I want to make clear with that. It's never you forgiving It's never you giving your power in a sense to the other person with that forgiveness. It's letting go of the power that the situation once had on you. That's what's being done right there when forgiving comes into play. Not forgiving the other person and not having the other person feel like, thank you for forgiving me and blah, 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 whatever with that. But more so of having that power just be released. Having that hold be released. Feeling like you have, shackles around your ankles, shackles around, your arms, feeling like you're tied down, feeling like you can't really enjoy life the way you want to on an everyday basis because this thing is just it's dragging along, and it's a part of everything to the point to where sometimes it becomes the blame for whatever just out of convenience, just because it's always there. So that's the first thing. You forgive to finally face that situation, to face that harmful or that hurtful thing that has caused you to have, this thing that just forced you to have a negative outlook, forced you to have negative effects just due to having a memory of whatever that is. To me, that's what forgiving represents. Forgiving is the last step to having that power just released, having that hold just released so you can live properly in the manner in which you choose to live. So just like always, man, y'all know when it's just me and you guys here, I don't like to be too long-winded, man. Just like the last video, it sparked a different conversation. And who knows, after watching this video, it might spark a different conversation. And we might come back and sit here for part 3 on this topic, man. So, if you agree with everything that I said, or if you disagree, be sure to comment down below, or even email me at theroomflnd@gmail.com. Let me know your opinions, your thoughts, your comments, suggestions, anything, man. Let's keep the conversation going. And remember, everything in this series will always have to do with having a healthy mind, a healthy mental space. Even if I might not specifically, word it that way or specifically talk about it in that way, it still always has to do with having a healthy mental space, man. So just like always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love, man. I go by the name of Desmond Bonet, and this was another official episode of The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority, man. Now this is YouTube, guys, and I am trying to grow, man. So I'll appreciate y'all help, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure y'all hit that notification bell. That way, once in a while when I just throw a little extra, you'll be one of the first to know. You'll be up to date with everything we have going on here, man. Once again, this is another episode of The Room, where having a healthy mind is priority, man. Until next time, y'all, in the words of the great Loaded Lux, let's get healthy.